Hello, you're with Calling All Stations. I am live on Periscope. What am I doing? This is a bit mad. Very mad. I did a test Periscope last night, a little shot of my model railway, and surprisingly, two of you watched it live and somebody else replayed it. So hello to those people who decided to join me at like 1 o'clock in the morning, watching basically a still image of my model railway. I was testing Periscope in landscape mode. If you're new to Periscope, if you're watching this on Twitter, Periscope didn't do landscape mode for a long time, and I refuse to shoot anything in portrait. It just grinds my gears. I think it's because I work in the media, so I get to see those portrait images replayed on a big widescreen TV, and it just looks silly. So the top tip for you before we even get started is shoot all your videos in landscape, please, just in case they get replayed on the news as some kind of coverage, whatever. Why am I here? As the title suggests, which is either up there or down there, I don't really know. We watch YouTubers that are like, oh, comment down here. I don't know, it's probably up there, it's probably down here. Who knows, who cares? As the title suggests, this is a preamble for hashtag Walk the Tube. What is Walk the Tube? That is a very good question. One that poses other questions. Walk the Tube is going to be a charity version of the Tube Challenge. There's our next question. What is the Tube Challenge? The Tube Challenge is essentially a challenge to get round all 270 London Underground stations in the shortest time possible. So what makes the charity version any different from the proper Tube Challenge? So the proper Tube Challenge actually goes in the Guinness Book of World Records. It's a recognised thing. There are current record holders, there have been past record holders, there are rules as well, and I'll get onto the rules shortly. But what makes the charity version different from the regular Tube Challenge, and why is it called Walk the Tube when you're going to be sitting on a tube train all day? Well, the charity version is basically a slowed down version of the Tube Challenge. We're not going to be going for a world record, but because the Tube Challenge is now quite popularly followed in London and throughout Britain and the world, the organiser Jeff Marshall likes to do these yearly events to take people round a possible route of the system. He doesn't like to give away his secrets. A possible route of doing the Tube Challenge, and to give people kind of a little taster of what it's like, but also to raise money for various causes, and everyone gets to pick their own cause, and I'll get onto my cause a bit later. What haven't we covered? Why is it called Walk the Tube? Well, during the regular Tube Challenge, you've got to do a lot of running. Again, why have you got to do all this running when you're going to be sitting on a train for the most of the day? Well, the idea of the Tube Challenge is to do it quickest possible time, right? So naturally, if you can minimise backtracking, and by that I mean when you get out to the outer branch lines, when you get out to the ends of the line, there's nowhere else to go. If you're in the centre of town, you can kind of organise yourself around all the intersecting lines and try and avoid backtracking. Whereas if you get out to, say, Epping, or if you get out to, I don't know, West Ruislip, that gives you a clue of what line I live on, right? If you get out to any of the ends of the lines, you've got to backtrack, and you've got to come back into town. So that kind of wastes time, that wastes valuable stations that you've already visited. However, you can minimise these backtracking there are certain opportunities throughout the network, and let's take West Ruislip as an example. You get out to that end of town, and the Metropolitan line is also out there. So you get off at Ruislip and you can run between the Central line and the Metropolitan line. You can take public transport, you can take a bus, or you can take national rail trains. You're not allowed to take any private transport, so that's taxis or any pre-organised cars. So you could do that journey by bus if you wanted to, but buses, they're going to get stuck in traffic, they're going to slow you down. It's probably quicker to run. So the Tube Challenge, the real life, the real world Guinness World Record attempts have lots of running in because they're trying to minimise that backtracking. The charity version is not going to do any running because there's going to be 20 novices all types of novices as well. So I'm a novice in the sense that I've not done a tube challenge and I'm not going to be doing any running around the network. I am a Londoner and I use the tube every day to get to work and to get about. However, I think there are people coming on the tube challenge that have come down from up north, from Scotland, and I think a few people have even flown in from other countries. So maybe they've never used the tube network at all. So this is novices in the sense that they're completely new to the system, which is very brave, and they're going to try and do the whole system in one day. But also novices in the sense there's people like me who know the system, but are definitely in no physical state to do any kind of running to try and get a world record. So why is it called Walk the Tube? Because we're going to be doing walking instead of running. Hashtag Walk the Tube. So hopefully I've kind of explained what the event is about. Let's move on to who's going and why we're going. So there's going to be 20 people, as I said, from all walks of life, all ages, and each of the 20 people get to pick their own charity to raise for. And that's another point of Walk the Tube. Instead of doing a world record attempt, part of the taster is to get an idea of what one of the routes would be. But to do that, why not raise some money while you're doing it? So everyone has to pick a charity to raise for. My charity I've chosen is Shelter. And why have I chosen Shelter? Well, homelessness and the like in London, for me, is a real big problem. I see it nearly every day in my local suburb, and when I'm walking to work, I will see at least one homeless person every day, if not two, if not one here and one when I get to work. And this is supposed to be one of the greatest cities in the world, one of the most economically powerful cities in the world as well, and yet every day I see somebody without a bed to go to at night, somebody who doesn't have a roof over their head like I do, and that really troubles me. And I'm kind of one of these people who thinks, do I stop and listen to this person's story? Do I stop and give them money? Are they just going to go and spend that money on dodgy stuff? Are they actually going to go and spend the money on food? So a long time ago I decided to start giving money to charity monthly, as it kind of really is to alleviate some of my guilt of walking past some of these people. Because do you stop and ask yourself this? I don't see many people stopping. I see some people giving money, which is good, but you don't know what they're going to do with the money. And if you're kind of person like I am, that I want to know what I'm doing is going to make a positive effect on these people, I have to do it through a charity. I have to do it through Shelter. Now you're probably sitting there thinking, just stop and talk to these people. I'm a very nervous person stopping to talking to my friends, let alone talking to strangers on the street begging. And that's probably a terrible thing, and it's actually taken me a lot of courage to just get up and do these videos. Most of you will know I don't really like to show my face in these videos that I do on my website. I've not done that many videos at all, and the ones I have done are of my model railway over there, and I'm pointing the camera towards the model railway and I'm just talking. I can do talking, that's fine, and I've done radio and stuff. I can do talking behind a wall, behind a microphone, that's fine, but as soon as you put a camera in front of my face, I'm a bit like, what's going on? And that's fine for when I'm doing pre-recorded stuff, because I can stop and I can do stuff again. But for live stuff like Periscope, I'm a bit like, I have to actually keep talking now. So I completely rambled off there. Back to Shelter. Yeah, it's a really good cause. It's a really important cause to me because it's something that I notice every day in London, and I think, why is this still a problem? And I could start talking about all the kind of things I disagree with about the government and taking money away from the disabled, taking money away from... There's no rent control in the city. There's nothing to help people with not a lot of money try and find a place to rent or even to buy. I could start talking about those things, and I just did, but homelessness is a problem regardless of administration in this country. It was a problem before this government. It would probably be a problem after this government. If you want to look into the figures of has it got better or worse over the last government, well, I bet you can probably guess whether it's got better or worse during our current administration here in the UK. Let's not bother with that. Let's just say it's a problem and it needs to get dealt with. So that's why I'm raising money for shelter. It's not just for homelessness. So if you already give to a homeless charity, there are other things that Shelter does, and they campaign for things like rent stability, rent controls, safe rent regulations. They're the people trying to make it better for you to rent and buy in London and the UK, and they're trying to force rules through into Parliament. They're really trying to fight for everyone deserves a house, everyone deserves a roof over their head, whether they rent it or whether they bought it. But not only that, do they deserve to protect themselves in their rented accommodation. Whatever roof they have over their head, they deserve to keep that roof and to be protected as much as possible in keeping that roof. And I think that's really important for somebody who sees people without any roofs at all, but also have had friends who've struggled with making rent payments and then they've been kicked out of their homes, and where do they go? And they go to charities like Shelter for respite, basically. And so it's a really important thing to me. I'm going to stop talking about it now, but you can go and help me give something back. It's about giving something back, and go to justgiving.co.uk/calling all stations. justgiving.co.uk/calling all stations. You'll see my page. You'll see more information about what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. And yeah, donate. I think I'm about halfway there to my target. My target, I kind of raised it in the first couple of days because I had quite a good response, and it kind of went quiet as I went quiet on social media. But I'm about halfway there to my target. I want to raise at least 500 quid. But if we can break that target, I will be a very happy person. So that's about all I'm going to talk about. I'm just going to say a little bit more about what you're going to see on the day for my website. I'm going to try and do more of these periscopes, basically. Oh, nervous. I'm also going to do some pre-recorded ones because we're going to be underground. We're not going to have Wi-Fi. We are at the stations, but it's going to be impossible to set up a periscope at every single station. As we go through central London, certainly underground, and certain stations still don't have Wi-Fi. Tottenham Court Road, I'm looking at you. Bloody Crossrails. So yes, I'm going to do some periscopes throughout the day. I'm going to try and do one every half an hour. Ooh, that sounds kind of a lot of periscopes. How long's the whole journey going to take? I should have really done some research and found out what the world record is, shouldn't I? I think it's something like 15 hours. Jeff's probably watching it. It's like, no, it's not. It's 16.173. But yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that now. I'm going to research what the world record is. Not that we're going to break a world record, mind you, just for a reference point, just so you get an idea of how long it's going to take. It is going to take all day. Rules. I haven't talked about rules. Maybe I should talk about rules in an upcoming video, because I've been waffling on for nearly 15 minutes. And that is very boring. So, without further ado, I'm going to bugger off. Don't forget to subscribe, to like. I don't know what you do with periscopes. Thumbs up, whatever you do with them. Share them, retweet them. They're all on Twitter, aren't they? The title's up here or down below. You comment, you do whatever you want. Go to my website. Via, of course, the Just Giving page, which is justgiving.co.uk/calling all stations. and my website callingallstations.co.uk. There will be live updates, there will be all sorts of fun stuff coming your way on the day. I'm so good at TV presenting, I should do this for a living. No, I shouldn't. Right, I'm going to go. I'll see you soon. Hopefully doing another preamble, probably from my friend Rob's flat soon. Goodbye.